So last night, my opponent that I had scheduled, I had a Warriors of Chaos opponent scheduled, and he ended up getting sick. So I picked up a game against Ian and his Lizardmen at the store instead. He's a regular, long-time tournament and store opponent of mine, going back about 7 years. So we've had quite a few games. I've played this Lizardman army before, and it's always challenging because he's a good general and it's a solid army. So it was interesting to take my High Elves against them, especially this is probably going to be my Southern Assault build. So I was excited to see how it would go. I think that Ian kind of plays a little softer, like I do a lot of times in non-tournament play a lot. So hopefully it'll be a good match in tournaments as well. So running through his army, he's got on the far left, you can see his Salamander. It's converted from a Tyrannid, and he's got a unit of Skinks there. He's got his Temple Guard and Slann, and it's a Death Slann, tricked out up on the hill. And then he's got another unit of Skinks in front with another Salamander behind it. Behind that is a big unit of Saurus, and on the right there, that is a Skink Crocs unit. I think it's got 3 Crocs of Gore and a ton of Skinks. So my army from left to right, I'm hiding a little bit behind the hill to start. I've got a Bolt Thrower, and you can see I got my Bolt Thrower and crew painted for this match, as long as I got an eagle painted as well. It's the Hobbit Eagle, and I really like these plastic eagles a lot more than the metal eagles. So anyway, yeah, Bolt Thrower on the left, Eagle in front of a unit of archers, another Bolt Thrower on the hill, and then I have, we'll show a close-up of that, but I have 6 Sisters of Avalorn, and with them I had to proxy, using a Skink, I had to proxy a Handmaiden to go into that unit. And I've given the Handmaiden the Reaver Bow and the Potion of Strength. And that's really, I don't know if that's an optimal build, but it really works out well with Southern Assault's Swedish comp. It gets this list up to an 11 by running it that way, so I'm liking it with that. So let's see, another unit of archers there with the Phoenix, a unit of 21 White Lions, 6 Silver Helms, and then you can see my Phoenix Guard there next to the building. And I finished the unit fillers for the Phoenix Guard, and what I used was basically spools for thread to make pillars, and then I put on 2 of the pillars I put like the wreckage from the Phoenix kit to make little Phoenix shrines, and in the 3rd pillar I put a piece from the Phoenix Guard kit. It's a brazier with flame. So it's just to put a little shrine bits, because otherwise those guys are just not going to rank up, and it was still really difficult to get them to rank up even in small bits. It's a really tricky kit. So behind the building I had a level 4 Shadow Mage and unit of 13 archers. And I should mention my BSB and my general, who's a level 3 High Magic Archmage. They are in the unit with the Phoenix Guard. They both have a 4-up ward, so they're feeling pretty good with a little magic resistance in that unit from a Lichbone Pennant or whatever, and that way they can withstand Death Snipe. And that's not specifically built to play Ian's list, but that's how it is. Yeah, you can see the Skink here proxying. I also have a Phoenix Guard proxying as a member of the Sisters of Avalorn, as I have 10 painted Sisters of Avalorn, but I only brought 5 on accident. So, yep, you gotta do what you gotta do. Okay, so Ian rolled turn 1, and he mainly just moved everything up. He's keeping that nice Skink screen in front of his units, and he's got his Salamanders in the woods. They're a pain to kill with shooting anyway, and yeah, and they're even more of a pain. Now, I should also mention, what I forgot to point out was, if you look next to the Temple Guard, and then again between the Temple Guard and the block of Saurus Warriors, you can see that he's got 2 solo Cold One heroes, Cold One Riding heroes. They got rerollable 1-up armor, and I think the other one's got a ward save and armor. Just a couple nasty guys to run around with. So he had some chameleon skanks. He dropped those off close to my Shadow Mage and my unit of archers, and took some shots. Killed 3 of them. Had a good round of shooting. Killed 3 archers. So he had no magic phase. I think he rolled up his dice, looked at his options, and just declined to cast any spells with the death magic. So in my turn, I moved those archers up into the building. That way they can have 360-degree line of sight. And moved the Phoenix over kind of behind the building so that it could both, if anything came up near the Phoenix Guard, it could charge, and it could also, if absolutely necessary, charge those chameleon skanks. Everything else just kind of, my right flank, it kind of scooted up to get into shooting range, and honestly the stuff in the middle just kind of held back. Yeah, you can see I moved the War Machine up. I'm up on the right flank, and did some shooting, killed some skanks, not a lot. I think my magic phase, basically the story of this game is our magic phases didn't really do a whole heck of a lot for the most part. For whatever reason, neither of us had particularly good magic. But here I shot down some skanks. Here I spent a lot of time shooting at skanks, and yeah, he moved up a little bit, gave me a little doom and darkness on that unit, which is scary. He's got the death snipe, but then he failed to do much. He put a wound with shooting. After the doom and darkness, he basically, I think he tried to death snipe my character, and she was running with a 3-up ward because of the magic resistance, and nothing happened. He did manage to put a wound on my Phoenix with his chameleon skanks, even though I shot, they were down to 3, but couldn't quite do it. And so I moved my Phoenix up to flank him. He's come up a little bit farther, but he's still in the woods there. The skinks are out though, so that's something. Moved some of my other stuff up. I like being able to move the sisters with the quick to fire rule with the handmaiden in them. Yeah, there's the eagle up there. I'm kind of hanging back. I don't want to get in range of any skinks and just throw away that eagle. I want him to save him where he's useful later. And I moved my Shadow Mage over. He's just kind of hiding out a little bit, trying to stay away from trouble. So yeah, and then you can see I'm just shooting away at those skanks, trying to clear them out. I think I got a Tempest off, either this round or the round next. One of these times I had randomly the spell Tempest from High Magic, which is a big Strength 3 round template, and managed to get it off and hit the salamanders, I think, at this point, and do a couple wounds, and they had to roll a 4-up to be able to shoot, kind of like a Storm Banner after that, so that was actually helpful, and it killed a ton of skinks as well, and killed the chameleons. Rid of those with shooting, killed all the skinks over here, trying to clear up that space, but he's got 3 skinks left in the front on his turn, and he comes up, blocks up the Phoenix Guard, and he's brought up the other salamanders, take pot shots at the Phoenix Guard as well. So yeah, you can see a better shot there. So I think he shot, and I think he killed 1 knight on an overshoot, and the other salamander couldn't shoot. But I ended up charging past him. I charged the Phoenix Guard into the skinks, charged my Silver Helms into his Temple Guard, and charged my Phoenix into, he was basically blocking his Phoenix Guard's flank with his 2 characters, and my thought was maybe I could kill or cause to flee one of the characters. They're not together in a unit, so I charged 1, and I want to overrun into the Temple Guard and just block them up, and then, he's kind of, at that point, forced to either sit for a while or commit and, put his what do they call him? Basically his Lizardman, his Saurus, into into the side of those silver helms, and then I've got the Phoenix Guard and I've got the White Lions to come in and clean it all up. And I mean, honestly, the salamanders don't really bother me at this point. I think I can clear them up with shooting. So, yep, got that all off, and yep, unfortunately that happened. So what happened here is that his Saurus hero just managed to sit there and not take any damage against the Phoenix. So the Phoenix just stood there, and then he killed all but one of the silver helms and then ran them down. Now, fortunately, this put him right in front of the Phoenix Guard. They killed the skinks and then overran into his Temple Guard. So I've got the Phoenix Guard into the Temple Guard, which is pretty good. It's not great, but pretty good. And he also, on his turn, he did a couple things which are terrifying. In the back, you can see he made he needed an 11 to get his Skink Crocs unit into the Phoenix, and then he also put his Saurus hero into the side of my Phoenix Guard, just trying to get a little combat res going. So what really sucks about fighting that Skink Crocs unit with the Phoenix is it's considered a unique unit, so I can't Thunder Stomp it. So him making that really long charge sucks. And yeah, you can see how bad it sucks because he ran down my Phoenix. It ran away, it couldn't compete with 3 ranks a charge and all that other bullshit. So yeah, that was that. So luckily, it turns out that Phoenix Guard can hold their own. My BSB went into a challenge with his Saurus hero and got a wound on him, and then my Phoenix Guard absolutely chopped up his Temple Guard. It was pretty great. I think I hit with every attack. I need 3s to hit on like 21 attacks, and hit with every one of them, and then wounded with 13 or 14. And he didn't make many armor saves, so really just chopped them up. And he's moved, something else is he basically had to either commit with the regular Saurus or not, or just back him up and keep him out of the game. And since we're playing a friendly, I think in a tournament he probably would have backed him up, but he brought him up thinking maybe he could help finish the fight. And so kept shooting. He kept charging the building with the salamanders, and I kept shooting the salamanders, both with the Sisters of Avalorn over on the far hill, and with the guys in the building, and eventually killed all the salamanders. So I charged the White Lions into his Saurus block. I also, just for fun, charged the Eagle into the flank. I thought at the time this was just being kind of a I don't know, smart aleck, but it turned out that it was pretty good. So you can see the Phoenix Guard continued to mop up the Temple Guard. There was actually a pretty good fight. At one point I just missed a bunch, and even with the reroll to hit, missed a bunch, lost a bunch of Phoenix Guard, but managed to, I lost by 1, managed to hold. And but the White Lions killed a ton of Saurus, but they would have still been steadfast, except for the fact the Eagle killed. So the Eagle's got 2 attacks. With its 2 attacks, it kills 2 Saurus, and then it stomps another Saurus dead. And that is exactly what I needed to break steadfast, causing the Saurus to flee. At this point, Ian conceded the game, because those, especially with the White Lions now free right there, those Temple Guard are done, and he's got that Skink Crocs unit, but it's not going to come back in time. So that was game at that point. It's always tough. Like, Lizardmen have a lot of good tricks. Ian's a great general. So we got a tournament coming up this Saturday, and I almost always end up playing Ian on like table 1 or table 2 at a lot of these events. So odds are we'll have another battle report that may go a completely different direction coming up sometime after Saturday. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this one, and we'll see you at the next report.